Yo, yo, yo. How's everybody doing this morning? It's your man, Dante, Suitman. There we go. Somebody's finally showing the fucking respect I deserve. You know what I mean? I need my goddamn standing ovation. Don't you guys short me on that. But it's your boy Suitman. How y'all doing today? It's Sunday the 16th. You know, usually we do this on the first Sunday of every weekend. But a motherfucker got lazy. And then on top of it, like, and the New Year starts, nobody wants to be like up and on time on the second. Let's just be real. I felt like we needed to give everybody a week to get some motherfucking sleep. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, if I'm honest with you, personally, I needed a couple weeks to get the shit together. Just so everybody in the land knows, and I gotta say this, I'm gonna wait a second so I make sure she sees it. But a motherfucker done fell in love. Did you hear about that? You know, I know, right? And the worst part about it is she likes me.
Wow.
I don't know how. I don't know why. But somehow this lady has figured out that she's just going to stay with me. And so if she's going to do that, I figure I might as well oblige, right? So,
Whoa.
Lucky me. Let's get it started. You know, we do this differently now. We always try to start with a topic so I can get everything going. So I'm gonna start in this topic. Since we've got two filmmakers here, tell me who's your favorite autistic actor, or do you know one? I'm gonna start with Nick, our guest today. Did you know any autistic actors, and who would be your favorite?
Oh, autistic actors. I don't know. None really come to me right now. The most recent one I can think of, I don't know his name. He's in the Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia LaBeouf. He's an actual guy with Down syndrome, and I don't know, he has a great chemistry with him in that movie, and it's just a very charming film based around like him. These two, it's like a Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn story come to life. So, but no, he was really good in that movie. Last I hear, it's like Zach something or other. I have to check that out again or something.
And what was the name of the movie again?
The Peanut Butter Falcon.
What the fuck was that about?
So there's this guy with Down syndrome. He escapes from like a mental home or something. He wants to go and compete in this local wrestling match or something. It's way down the ways. And then he meets Shia LaBeouf's character, and he's got problems of his own. The two end up banding together and trekking across the land, essentially, just like a backpack, gun, and some stuff, and they just pal around and have an adventure. They're crossing rivers, going through the woods, and all kinds of stuff, sort of deal. It's sort of like a contemporary Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer type deal. It's just like it's the South, and they're just having an adventure, the two of them.
So instead of saying the N word, they say the R word. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
I can remember being the only black kid in my class and was like, I'm not reading this fucking book. He says the N word in here. What the fuck are you guys thinking? You know what I mean? Like, fuck you.
Who put this in a book? Who did it?
Exactly. And it's one of those where I don't think a lot of people know how mad or how bad that could influence somebody. Next up, somebody who might actually know the answer to this question and have a better answer, because you know we're not special needs. We're just, you know, autistic. Janejira, who's your favorite autist who's an actor?
Well, this is actually a voice actor. His name is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Kellen Goff. And he voice acts for the character Overhaul in my favorite anime, My Hero Academia. And I found out that he is autistic because they were doing an interview and at like a Comic-Con or something. And this lady, like, asks her question, and she says, "Hey, my son is autistic, and he watched My Hero Academia, and it helps him, like, really understand emotions and facial expressions and stuff." And he was like, "That is amazing because I am also autistic." And I was like, "Hey, that's so nice." And
Yeah.
yeah, and for people who haven't seen the show, Overhaul is a villain.
What kind of villain?
Um, a super villain.
Is there any other kind? I mean, there's the under villain, which is Skeletor. Who else? Wile E. Coyote. I guess those are under villains, not super villains, right? But aren't most villains super villains?
I think so. Well, so in My Hero Academia, let me nerd out for a second. Info dump. Um, the villains of the story, their take on society is that the way that the hero system is structured is just wrong, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's a little bit classist. So they have kind of their idea of how society should be run, but they kind of do it unethically, and there's a little bit of like human trafficking happening and a lot of like violence, and that's
I
how they go
mean,
about
these
it.
are criminals, right? I mean, we would expect at least a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they do make some really good points about how it's like we're just glorifying the heroes and it's like commercialized and it's like, ooh, when the villain has a good point though.
Wow.
Yeah, watch this anime. It's so good.
I'm gonna need you to tone it down a little bit. That's kind of scary. You're scaring me.
Welcome to anime. This is normal.
I
I
can vouch for that.
yeah, my favorite anime right now is Food Wars.
Oh, that's a good one.
For those of you who haven't watched Food Wars, they have food gasms.
Hmm.
When they eat the food, they're just oh, ah, and their whole clothes come off, and they squirt honey everywhere. And the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't watch porn, but this ain't half bad. You know what I mean? I think this will suffice. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't watch porn, but yeah, we can do this. This will work. This ain't half bad. You know what I mean?
Food
You
porn hits different.
you use what you got.
Hey, exactly. And then I thought about being a little 16-year-old boy in Japan, and I was like, why is Meat's tit so big, and why does she have to wear an American bikini every time she's? Oh, okay. They're saying this is what American women look like. Well, that's not true. I mean, it's kind of in America, it's the opposite of deja vu. It's 50 ugly ones and 3 cute ones. So did you guys know that, right? Like,
This is the wrong podcast, bro.
oh shit, my bad. I got caught up on that one. But it's weird because as we get more into this, right, and as we get more into understanding autism and all these different things, I think that we're finding that there's a ton of people, especially in the Black community, that are possibly autists or neurodivergent, and they just don't know it yet.
Mood.
Right? My lady friend was talking yesterday, and we were talking about something, and she was just identifying with how she could communicate with me, and none of it loses her. And I was like, "Are you sure you're not ADHD or a little autistic or something? Like, you're a little too good at this. You know what I mean? Like, come on, help me out here." But hey, enough about us. We've got our usual show. Unfortunately, for everybody who's wondering, we're missing a member. I know for a fact that what it is Audra. Unfortunately, and I hope I'm not spilling the beans on this, but I know Audra caught COVID and she was unable to do our live show on Friday. I don't know how last night went, but I know it takes a shit ton out of you if you've got COVID. So hopefully she's healed and well and feeling better. So we will have no polite kitty today.
Sad.
Where's our come on, fucking sound effects lady?
There you go.
Get your shit together. I know you missed a month, so you're behind too.
Well, yeah, 2022 is rough because guess what we got for Christmas? COVID.
Yeah, everybody on here but me got COVID for Christmas. Yep. I don't know. And then there's part of me that's like, it's about time that not getting something worked out for me. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
Hey,
lucky man.
Yeah.
Right? So we will have no Audra tonight, but she'll be back. We'll be back next month with her. We'll be back in 3 weeks with another one. So pretty sure she'll be feeling good by then. All right.
Yay. Yay.
All right.
We have our usual sound effects lady finally decided to fucking show up and do the job.
Hell yeah, it's your boy, the potato chip enthusiast, coming in hot.
So what is our nickname for this turtle? Is this the therapy turtle, the therapy tortoise? What do we got going on today?
First of all, it's a
Oh.
dinosaur. Second, I don't know. Maybe our audience can decide a name for our dinosaur mascot boy.
Is that Lenny, the Loch Ness dinosaur, right? The itchy.
Well, I technically named it broccoli because it's green. Broccoli, pun, A.
Barack, did you put Barack in there? Did you say Barack-Ali?
No, I said broccoli.
It sounded like you're just a shitty pronunciation and you're like Barack Ali.
Hey.
I like that one a little bit better, right?
Obama's a dinosaur.
Yeah,
Confirmed Illuminati.
oh, we're not going there. You don't.
Me.
Yeah, no. Remember, the host is black. You don't get to talk about my one president.
Today, Nick is the minority.
Not exactly. There's one
a token white boy.
Hold on. There's 1.6 white guys here.
Okay.
That's true. I am half white too.
Yeah, I don't think he's the minority yet. He's still not the minority. And coming in hot with a hot take that didn't go over well. Give it up for our guest today, Nick McCann.
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
I'm like, that's how you start. You throw an Obama objection out to the black host. Like, just heads up. Don't ever do that. The odds are you're not gonna be in good favor.
I like Obama.
No, you can't retract on that one. Just let it go. Like Frozen. You said it. It's gone. Yeah. It's gone. You already said it. You can't change it now. Like, you can't be like, oh, oops, I proposed and got you this shitty ring, and then 5 seconds later be like, oh, I didn't mean it. I'll go back and get a new one. That's not it's not how this works. Sorry, sir. You lost your chance.
Darn me.
And then he could be like, well, I'm acting. Remember, I'm a filmmaker. And I'd be like, that's bullshit. You're not that good of a filmmaker either. Okay, I just want to let you know.
It was all an act.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. What do you do? Where are you from? And let's just start there.
Sure. I am a budding filmmaker up here in Washington State. I've been into it for as long as I can remember, or at least I've been into the art of filmmaking probably since high school, because up until that point, I just watched a lot of movies, and I retain a lot of the movies I watch. I memorize quotes, memorize scenes, a lot of actors, directors, so forth. Just watch them all the time. We're a movie watching family in this household. And then in high school, I took a video production class, and I got into the process of making films, how to use a camera, how to use an editing software, how to utilize a crew, and so forth. And that sort of set a spark that whatever career path I wanted to take before that, I said, I'm going to make movies now. I'm going to dedicate to making movies. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. It's so much fun, and it's what I love. So then I graduate, I think that year. I graduate that following year, and then down the line, I am taking my driver's test. I'm at a 911 driving school learning about stuff, and one of the other classmates, she turned me on to Shoreline Community College and said that had a actually premier filmmaking program in the area. She was also a filmmaker, and she was also working on getting her degree or working on some kind of future in that. So took her up on that, and I went to Shoreline. And over the next 5 years, I met a lot of great people, including this lovely lady on the podcast right here.
Hi.
I learned the ins and outs.
Wrong podcast. We're not doing dating yet.
Yeah, I learned the ins and outs of filmmaking process in the industry, met some people, and eventually that led to me getting some set gigs in the subsequent years. And sometimes
stop, time out. We don't talk in code. What is a set gig?
Oh, you just you work on set, you go and work on film shoots and so forth. Some of them.
So again, you gotta explain, how are you working on the set? Yeah, I think not everybody knows. Like, you're talking industry talk because your lady friend's on the phone, and I know a little bit about acting. But for the person who doesn't know, for the average kid who's just listening to this, parents might let them know. They don't know what that means. So you working on the set? Are you nailing shit down? Are you the guy building the countertop, the fake countertop, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so when you're making a movie on the day, there are several jobs that go into making the film. There's of course the director. He or she guides the projects and what the story is going to be and so forth. We are all going off of a script that was pre-written, and everyone else contributes to making that on the day. So you got your director, you got your audio guys, like the boom operator. He holds up the microphone, captures audio, which is what I did starting out. I was a boom operator on my first few projects. A lot of fun. There's a camera guy, of course. Him and his two other guys operate the camera, change out lenses, and do this thing called the slate, where they mark the sync point between the audio guys and the camera guys.
And that's the guy that's always like, action, clap, right? That's the clapper thing.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. Well, then there's the assistant director. He actually calls out action. If not him, then the actual director does it. But the assistant director keeps everyone in check on the set, makes sure that they're in line and doing their job. There's crafty guy who's way the heck back offset, providing food at different intervals of the production day. Mm-hmm. The production designer designs the sets and the looks of the location that we're filming in. There's DIT guy who takes all the audio and video clips after we shoot a scene and wrangles them into hard drives, and sometimes makes a little rough edit of the movie, just tests it out, see if the footage is working, and so forth.
We went further enough. We dove too far. Now we're too deep. Like I told you to jump into the pool, and you went to the Olympic pool, and like, I'll show you. Did you want to dive? I'm about to do a triple twist, quadruple gainer.
It's called info dumping.
See, that's my problem. I could go on.
It's okay, and that's the best part for me is I'm good at okay. That's too much. That's a talking point for me. We should follow up on this later. I do the same shit. Don't worry, it's all right. Sure. No, yeah. But and you said you were the boom guy this time.
Yeah, when I was just learning stuff, I wanted a job that was relatively simple to do.
But it's not, because you know what?
Really.
Every movie that's not really that good, do you know what you end up seeing? That asshole who's the boom guy, and you see one of these, and you see the damn stick in the damn film. So I'm pretty sure, did you get your share of getting yelled at?
Oh, yeah. So what it is with me, I'm a short guy. I'm 5'5". I'm not that tall. So it's one thing to have to hold this thing up for a long minute or two while the camera's rolling and my arms are starting to lose strength. I'm trying to think about not dropping this freaking thing.
Hey, it's like torture when you're a kid. Yeah, hey, and you're gonna get hit in the knees, and you start shaking, and you're trying to hold it straight. Now you're just gonna hold it at an angle so it's up and shake up here, because at least it's out the screen, right?
Come on. So it's another thing when you're a really short guy. I have to use what's called an apple box every other take, which is quite actually an apple box that's commonly used on film sets to give you or something else a little more height. So I need like 2-3 of those sometimes. And we do the big wide shots. You got to extend the pole out a lot, and that just adds to the weight on the other end. So all these combine, and the film day can run long, or the weather can be really hot and you just drain for stamina. There is still art in one of these simpler jobs on set. There's a nuance to work in that position.
Oh, trust me, I get it. I can. I've been in film, right, and I've been in acting in a couple different ways. Now I've done a couple of shoots, right? I've done some videos, right? I've done some skits. And then I was the stats guy for Fox Sports for a couple games a couple years ago.
Ooh,
and so it was crazy to see two things. First off, there were 2 black guys on the crew. I don't know if it's a dun-dun moment, because the 2 black guys were not doing the jobs they expected. The guy was the head of the production team on the field, and I was the stats guy. That's not looking at me at 6'2", 260. You're thinking I'm the what did you just call him? What was it? The boom guy? You know,
The
I'm the
boom
guy
operator, yeah.
right. Or I'm the guy holding the camera because I'm big enough to get run into and not get hurt, right? So that was the first thing, is I noticed there's not a lot of diversity in that, right? And that's a totally different conversation, right? But there isn't a lot of diversity in TV production or film production or any of that, right? And then the second one is that shit's dangerous. Like and like when you're doing it for sports, and even when you're doing it as a regular person, holding a camera for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, right? Doing some of these things isn't the easiest thing to do. So it's funny to hear you talk about just feeling like, oh God, is this a Marines test? Like, I can only imagine a shitty director having some sort of tool to smack you with and hitting your elbows every time they talk, get your arms up. That is not the proper way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you asshole, leave me alone, right?
Yeah, so, thank God I haven't found that guy yet.
Oh, don't worry, you're gonna do a film with me, right? And then I think about all those adult content films and how that's the guy that's always just weirdly holding the, you know, like you gotta get the proper sounds, right? So there's all kinds of things that I'm thinking here, like, oh, this is funny to talk about in a different scenario because I'm not gonna. All right, we'll leave that one alone. So let's talk about something. What is your diagnosis, man?
I am diagnosed ADHD and OCD, and I have anxiety too.
ADHD, OCD, anxiety. All right. And how long have you been diagnosed?
For as long as I can remember, pretty much. I have always had compulsive tendencies since I was younger. I can remember one of the first routines I stuck to was, my mom is a regular soda drinker, and she always asked for either me or my brother to go get a soda from the fridge. And it was always have to be me, because she would most often ask me, and I just got into it that, oh, I'm the guy. This is my thing. And then if my brother would go do it, I'd zip on over like the Flash, like, no, it's me. I got to do this. And I do that. And that was probably like, I don't know. I started like 5 years old. Probably earlier than that sort of deal. But that's another can of worms and all that, because like I didn't start like consciously remembering things until I was 5. But yeah, that's like another topic sort of deal. But I've had compulsive tendencies for a while, and I've always had this hyper focus, ADHD, behavior. Even before I really knew I was diagnosed, my mom probably knew I was diagnosed, because adult things, why would I pay attention to that? So yeah, and I've also had the ADHD tendencies for a while. Like I said, I watched a ton of movies growing up, and I remember all this factoid and information about the movie and so forth. I remember stories. I remember key scenes. I remember character names, even the most minor ones, even crappy movies that I really like. I remember character names where others would just not really give a hoot.
This fascination with something.
Yeah, I've always been fast. Whenever I get on a topic, I get really into it, and I just retain all the knowledge I get of it, even the most minute of detail.
See, it's been a blessing and a curse for me. I think my partner now enjoys it because she tells me 7 million stories, and I remember them all for the most part. You know, for the most part. Oh, so you mean Bob? The other day I was like, it's Bob, and she's like, it's Rob. I was like, well, fuck, that's pretty good. You've told me like 12 stories with similar. Like,
oh man,
give me some help here. And I wasn't complaining, but it was like, I got it right. She wasn't mad either, but it was just kind of a joke. Like, hey, I got most of it right. I got 2/3 of the name right. Come on, that passes in the Senate. You know what I mean? That passes, right? Then she chuckled. She's like, "That's topical. Well played." I was like, "It is, right? Like 66%. That's almost a bill, right? Like, come on, help me out here."
Dude, let me tell you, I'm ADHD. My mom's also ADHD. God bless her. She runs through so many topics in a conversation. It just kind of whoosh, it just throws me for a loop. She'll be talking serious about one thing, and then she'll the next sentence, half a second later, it's something else completely different, something else entirely out of the realm, and it just throws me off. Even I do this too, but it's still weird when I see someone else do it, and it's what are you talking about? Just stay on the point, please. Kind of, it's so weird, and I do it too also, but I like to think I'm not that conscious of her. I have like a more reserved, I'm just a bit more reserved in how I do it. I try to stay on the point as much as I can, but there's just those times like all these thoughts are firing through your head. You just gotta get them out there, and somehow they connect in your brain, but externally it's confusing for the other party. What the frick are you talking about? Yeah,
And
but
that's
good.
what. Go ahead.
No, I just my God bless her. My mom is amazing. She's great. I love her.
And that's the thing is, I'm not going there. Mine's not, and we're not getting there. We're not getting emotional with me today. We're avoiding that.
That's what we say on every episode, and then it isn't
As I
true.
say every episode, she's like, he's crying halfway through. Don't worry, he'll be crying later. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He'll be crying later, right? Go to hell. Go to hell, Jane. Go to hell.
I have a VIP ticket and a reserved spot, okay?
She's like, I've already got my parking pass. I registered and everything. I registered early.
It means they know me.
Now, let me ask you, is your mom actually diagnosed ADHD, or is it just how you feel about her?
I believe she is actually.
Was she on medication? Was she not, I shouldn't say medication. Was she medicated for that, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, she is medicated, and she's like a bunch of diagnoses. She's unfortunately of many ailments, but she keeps trucking on, just even on worse days. And I'm really inspired by that. I tell that all the time. It's like, hey, you're doing great still. You're still standing, and I appreciate everything you do. I love everything you do. It's because I had a great set of parents and all that. My mom really did hold the fort down. She was a stay-at-home parent, worked from home, and helped me and Jake through the school stuff. My brother Jacob, by the way, she deal with the school stuff and all that. And I always defer.
When you say the school stuff, did you find yourself being in the portable classes like myself, or were you still in a class? Did you get an aid? Were you on an IEP? Because it sounds like you were that kid that would not shut up, probably. And
I know I didn't talk
in class.
I mean, I didn't talk in class. No, I was a good noodle. I stayed in line and stayed quiet during story time and lessons and so forth.
Me, not at all. So I'm over here like shit. I can't stay quiet during an interview. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, there was the point I did ride the short yellow bus for a while in kindergarten, and I was attending two schools at once. So I did the one school.
Yep.
Hello. The first half of the day.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah. I go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I attended the. So at first I was doing Martha Lake Elementary and Hilltop Elementary in one day. I do Martha Lake in the first half of the day and then go to Hilltop afterwards.
Where are you from?
I am from technically I have a Bothell address.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're not from Seattle. God damn it.
No.
Get this traitor out of here.
No. I'm one of the ones. I'm one of the ones, guy.
He's not quite from here. He's a northern Linwood kid, basically. No, I'm just giving you shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. No, the closest town is technically Mill Creek, but we are a Bothell address. So.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's 425. I'm not disappointed anymore. I promise. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, I did that for a bit, and then I became exclusively Martha Lake afterwards, maybe from first grade onwards. But it still counted. I went to Martha Lake for all 7 years, and I got recognized for that on the graduation ceremony. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Woo! That felt good. Yeah, I didn't notice until much later. So yeah, I was on a short yellow bus, and Hilltop, there's a lot of the special needs kids, and my mom, I guess, went up to one of the teachers one day and she said, he's too smart for this class. There's nothing wrong with him, sort of deal. Nothing on the kids either. There were some nice kids in there. They were great. They were a great bunch of people. But yeah, even the teachers thought there was nothing too particularly wrong with me as far as the special needs stuff. I was competent and I didn't require any like major physical attention. I was just a normal kid, as it were. I was functional.
We don't use those words around
Okay,
here.
well,
Normal and functional.
Well,
No,
still, yeah.
It's okay. It's just one of those. There's no such thing as normal, and then there's the idea that, like, when I hear this story, it's the total opposite. Most of us got put, as far as Black people, on the neurodivergent scale or autism scale. We'd get put in classes and they're trying to get them out, and it's a schoolroom to prison pipeline instead of an opportunity for the parent to come in and say something like that.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a different view and dynamic. You know what I mean? You're out here in Bothell, right? There's only like probably 3 Black kids out there, if that, right?
Pretty much. I remember, like, we did have some diversity, but it wasn't. No, it's not diversity. We won't go there. But it's just knowing where you're from. The difference is like when you get to. So I think I was on the short bus. 4 years out of 5 or 6 going to school. 2 years of it was for like really like one-on-one bad social skills, and some of the kids are in there fighting and throwing shit, and I'm not even, like you said, I'm not it's not normal. It's that my issues are different. Yeah,
my issues are I'm a 5'6" kid at 3rd grade, and whenever I get mad, I'm bigger than the teacher and they're scared.
Wow.
Right. And then I'm Black and all these different things. So you look around the room and you've actually got the same kid who's acting way worse than you, but he's a regular sized kid, right? Or he's, you know what I mean? So there's different levels to this, and that's the fun part about this show is we get to hear the different angles and perspectives and how things work, because there's no time in the life that a lot of our guests, their parents could go in and tell the teachers, my son doesn't need to be in this class.
Yeah, it was just a casual strike up with the teacher. My mom said she was told, like, there's no way. There's no way. That's not even an opportunity, I think, for Jane or me or a lot of our guests. Their parents wouldn't even, they'd be like, ma'am, are you qualified to have this conversation, and get an attitude and some other things. So it's a different perspective. That's why we just giving you heads. It's just different. That's all. Yeah, I get that. And
let me ask you. Oh, go ahead.
No, just want to interject. Like, when I was that young, I wasn't fully aware of my condition. I knew I had a condition. My mom reminded me of that all the time. But it wasn't until much later in life, like pretty recent, the last few years, when I became conscious of my conditions and so forth. So it is a weird world when you're not fully aware of what you are and what you possess, sort of deal.
Oh, there's part of me that just doesn't, I don't know. I'm like, welcome to be a minority, Nick. I mean,
yeah.
We don't really feel sorry for you, buddy. It's all right. You'll be okay. It's like when you're a minority and you find out you're normal, right? But everybody's been fucking with you because of your skin color, and you're finally aware of racism, and you go, whoa, there's a term for what's been going on to me my whole life, right?
Yeah, I got nothing on that, man.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you hit about 13 or 14 and as a minority, and you're like, Jane will probably tell you, these girls hate me because I'm good at math and I happen to be Asian, and that's racist, and that's why you're always mad at me. Right? Like, we get that all the time.
Or better yet, everyone assumes I'm good at math, and then they realize I'm not, and then it's like, but aren't you Asian? What's happening?
Oh, shit. You ever get beat up because you failed a math test because somebody cheated off, you know what I mean? Like, that's fucked. I cheated off of you. We're going to have to pay. And she's like, well,
no, I got beat up because I didn't pass my math test.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they cheated off of you. We're like, this is bullshit. All right. I just got wrong.
beat up for the shit of it.
It's all right. You're 5'5". I can see that happening. It's okay. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, as
Mm.
far as a filmmaker, do you feel like your attention to detail your helps, or does your ADHD kick in and you're like, I don't want to do this scene? What's going on? I mean, how does it feel? Does your neurodivergence affect how you're able to be a filmmaker?
I think it affects me, but in a pretty good way. Like I said, I'm pretty hyper observant. I notice a lot of the little details. It actually helps me a lot in my writing. I am a screenwriter. I write scripts pretty much on the reg, and I'm always thinking about the little details. And they tell you not to get too detailed with your script writing, because you leave the rest of that for the directing, so the actors have more freedom to approach the scene, and you have more.
Whoa. So so when you write your script, you don't say the whole conversation, you let them direct that, or what?
Well, you write the dialogue, of course. You write what they're going to say. And of course, you can decide whether there's going to be room for improvisation or not afterwards. But you write the dialogue and you write the action lines, which is like the physical stuff people do on screen or something that's going to happen on screen. So you keep those as broad as possible. So when you're directing a scene, the actions can be a little more natural because the actors will have more freedom to approach it in some way. So something to the effect of, he walks to this side of the room. You don't say exactly how he does it. He makes a light stride in what seems to be slow motion, left foot in front of the other. That doesn't need to be like that. You keep it broad. He walks to this side of the room. And
so you'd be like, okay, so there's two guys, and the character A and character B in the room. They're having a conversation about dad. It goes wrong. Instead of having all the dialogue laid out and how that conversation is going to go, it's just, hey, they have a bad conversation, tempers flare, they both leave the room, right? And so then they go.
There is that, but more often than not, you'll write out the dialogue. The dialogue will be written out. It's just the actions that gotta come natural, and so you leave those as broad as you can on the paper, on the page, and then you, the director, can spice it up on the day, because you do multiple takes and whatnot, and each take is going to produce a different emotion, and then when you edit together, you're gonna fine tune those emotions into what you eventually see.
Yeah, I like the way you're saying this, like, duh. And I'm like, well, no, we got to let everybody know that this isn't just like,
yeah.
He's over here just like, why are you asking me these questions? I'm the director, and I wrote this. He's definitely not. Does he Suitman Productions? I don't know. We should probably take the production side off of that. He doesn't know shit, right? Like, no, I want everybody else to learn. Come on, work with me, everybody.
Oh, they're learning. I want people to learn too.
No, it's just the way
phrasing.
I need you to play the character who's excited to tell everybody, good morning. Oh my God, everybody's here.
Hello,
thank you.
World.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man.
One.
Put on your assistant director face where you kiss ass a little bit, right? That's all I'm saying, right? Like, this isn't the I'm in charge interview. This is the I love everybody. We're all equals interview, right? Shit.
Right.
And I'm only saying that because we've all been, so I've done a couple shoots, and there's sometimes where you get on things and the guy's like, hey, right here, hey, eyes, everybody, and you're like,
yeah,
dude, you're talking to one guy. Why do we all have to pay attention? Why do you need us all to be fucking quiet? Like, go to hell, right?
Yeah, assistant directors.
I've had the other directors that are like, let's see what you got.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Scene. What scene are we doing? Who's doing what? I don't know. Figure it out. Improv something. Let me work. Let me see. I need some magic. And you're like, this is worse. I think I like the guy who knows what we're doing and at least tells us shut up. I'd rather deal with that than try to have to figure this whole thing out, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's what is the movie about? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just film something right now. We'll go from there. What?
That's the worst.
This is gonna be an organic experience. We're just gonna film and see what we get and throw it all against the wall, and at the end we'll have an abstract project.
Is this the room?
Oh man.
I think this is the scene. This is the place. I like the plant. Is that a cactus? Somebody else find out what kind of cactus that is. We're gonna need 12 more of those before we can film again. This is almost an extinct plant. There's like 6 in the world. What the fuck?
I don't care. Give me that plant.
Right. So it can be a whole myriad of things that you're dealing with, personalities, attitudes, all of that, right? So
yeah,
it's something that I ask you because we hear about these horror stories, and you're a filmmaker. It doesn't seem like you're the actor, right? So
yeah,
we had Focus on last week, who's a director and filmmaker, but he acts as well. And so it's kind of like me being a producer and a comedian. When you do both, you have a different perspective. When you just do one, you're one way. When you just do the other one, you're another way, right? When you do both, you kind of are in the middle ground. At least if you're good, you're like, I'll be better, right?
Well, I operate in that way. I operate kind of like the former. I do everything. My perspective is I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and I don't do a whole lot of acting. I'm pretty stage fright and nervous about.
Bingo. That's what I'm getting at. There's 2 different attitudes here. You have the bravado, the guy like me who's like, yeah, hello, I'm here. And then you have the guy in the background like you who's like, yeah, we all knew you were here. Who gives a fuck? Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Bob. Hi. Right? So,
yeah.
You're more the latter on that one, right?
yeah. But the thing is, I have the capacity to be out there performing. I'm a pretty out there guy. I like talking to people. I like getting involved in things, but just I don't want to act. I get nervous about watching myself, about people watching me, interacting in a scene, losing myself to character. But in the last couple of years or so, I'm kind of slightly experimenting. I'm going more outside the comfort zone. I took an acting class for my last quarter at college before I graduated. And then I found myself working myself on camera more into my subsequent projects, because we did last year, 2 years ago now, coming on, or I should just say a year and a half ago specifically. My friends and I shot this post-apocalypse action Western short film. And I said I was going to play the supporting character in the movie. And I did that. I acted out the movie and I edited the movie and released it. And I got pretty good reception from people. They said, "Oh wow, you're a good actor. You did a great job." Like, thanks, man. Thank you so much. So I'm becoming more comfortable with acting alongside a crew and setting some kind of artistic example for my projects in a way. So there's that.
I hear you. You're still a production guy. It's all right. It's even the way.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because like I'm a jock nerd, right? And it's like you're still a nerd, dude. Like I know you can play tennis and all, but let's go play some football. And you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna stick to this tennis though. I'm gonna kick your ass. Right?
I got some Dungeons and Dragons to do.
Yeah. It's okay,
but
but I hear you. He's like, I don't want you to. Hey, I can be a supporting actor. No, I'm not ever gonna be the main guy. You're right. And I'm not knocking you on that, but I hear it. That's the game we play, right? And then you look at the same guy and you're like, well, if I didn't have to shoot this, I bet you can't shoot it once, huh, fucker? I've got 76 takes to shoot, and it goes both ways. I'm glad to what's the word? Roost your feathers a little bit. You're like, I can still act though, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare talk to me like that. That's basically yeah, that was basically what I could still see the look on your face, and I'm telling you, nah, you're like, you know what? You don't know me. You don't know me. Whatever. Me and Jane are gonna talk about you when we get done. And I did not appreciate when your buddy, little suit guy or suit man or whatever the fuck he is, tell me I'm just a behind the scenes guy. Well,
I'll show him who's funny.
Yeah, exactly. And then record a shitty film. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Just do a little skit. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, you kind of all you have is shitty films at this point.
No, and I laugh because you're like, we recorded a short film, and I'm like, I love how when you first start recording, like a short film is like 17 minutes, right? It can be like 22 minutes, like the whole film from front to back is 17 to 22 minutes. How long was your first short film?
My first short film, I think, was around 5 minutes.
Yeah, you get yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good. It's not saying right or wrong, but it's a long skit, right? But how long
Yeah.
did it take to get that 5-minute film?
We did 2 days of shooting for that one, but it was there was some deals going on. All right. So what it was I was in high school, and it was a big deal. It was a little short film called Adrenaline Delivery. It was an action chase thriller.
Remember, it's only a 5-minute film, so we shouldn't talk about it for more than 5 minutes, right? No, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not worth talking about much. It came
No,
out.
go ahead. I'm just giving you shit. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm still going to talk about it, but after this conversation, there's not much time worth to revisit. So, action chase thriller. It was a big deal because it was the first time I wrote a script for a movie, the first time I worked with multiple actors. I made friends with the drama departments in my high school days. I was what I call a drama class groupie. I wasn't in the class. I just hung around the guys. I just hung around the guys and gals all the time. But yeah, I had friends, good friends who were in drama, and I knew who could reliably act at that point. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try and make this short film. I'm writing a script. Would you want to try it out and so forth? Would you want to make this film? Like, yeah, let's do it. So we got together on a day, and the first day, it got progressively worse. We got rained on to a point. We just had to call it and improvise some kind of transitions for when the weather did get good. So that's why in the movie you see a clear contrast between day 1 and day 2. Day 1, the actors are drenched, soaked, wet with rain. And then day 2, they're bone dry and sometimes in different costumes.
Shit.
Yeah, that's just one of the first of many problems. Storytelling didn't come through. There wasn't enough action. It took on a strangely different tone, different vibe than I wanted. But it's a movie made in high school. You're not expecting Schindler's List out of the dang thing. But
Jesus. That's what you're gonna say on our Schindler's List. Thanks. That's just burn some. Yeah, that's
fine.
awesome.
Fine, The Irishman.
That's not any better. Can we get something with a little culture, like some love? Can we brighten it up? You're just a suicidal white guy over there, mad at the talent on stage, sitting back there hating on the talent. You're definitely a behind the scenes guy. No, he just got this dark sense of humor.
No.
Hey, Jay, blink twice if you need us to save you, right? Like, Jesus.
In all honesty, we did have fun making the movie, and my friends, they did a great job. I'm very happy for them that they contributed at all, really, that they actually said yes to being in my dumb little chase movie. And yeah, I put it out there. I watched it. I disliked it, but I learned a lot, and that definitely guided a lot of projects going forward. Consistency in storytelling, character, how to film action, all this kind of stuff. And also not to use a lot of copyrighted music on your soundtrack. Mm-hmm. That's a killer these days.
That's a killer any day. That's the whole idea. You gotta find a local artist or some BS sound clip, right? Or something.
Yeah, royalty free, man.
That's funny. It's that time of the show. I wish Audra was here, but you know what that means. Come on.
Yes! Welcome to the lightning round. We asked you some questions. Some of them are amazing and Dante hates them. And then some of them are like deep and personal, and like we get into the feels, we get into the vibe. And it's a fun little mix of both.
If you couldn't figure out, Jane's happy for this. That's the happiest she got all show. I'm not even a part of this. This is also awkward because Jane and this guy are dating. So she's like, I'm going to get some answers. Let's have 3 serious ones. Why don't you want to have kids next month? Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Well,
shit.
That's the Nick, wrong podcast.
You're in trouble now. She's going to get the answer she wants. No, I'm fucking with you. Go ahead, Jane.
Okay, let's start off light and fun and ease into it. If you could be a dessert, what dessert would you be and why?
Oh my God.
Look at him. He's like, oh my God, this is kind of weird. Hold on.
All right. Okay. If I was a dessert, I was a dessert, what would it be? I think I'm just thinking of white cake with raspberry filling. I am so bland. Maybe a little something to spice it up, but I keep it plain Jane normal as much as I can. So white cake and raspberry filling.
That sounds about right.
Hmm.
Yay. And then I guess more deeper personal question, I guess. Has there ever been a time in your life where you've been like dealing with ADHD and you're like, this is overwhelming and it sucks and I do not like it and I don't know how to deal right now?
There was a time of that actually. It was in the fourth grade, I remember, because I was scared. I was worried I wasn't paying attention enough compared to everyone else because I wasn't retaining a lot of information as much as I should. And everyone else seemed like an exemplary student. And I just held myself to such a high standard at the time. I didn't know what everyone else did. I know there was like troublemakers and people did adequate, but everyone else was freaking god tier Stephen Hawking levels of intelligent at that point. So I was getting worried. I need to focus more in class. I'm not doing so hot. And that's when my mom signed me up for psychology therapy sessions and put me on medications. And that's when I first started taking anxiety and ADHD medications. And I'm still on the anxiety stuff right now, but I fell off the ADHD stuff around high school. But yeah, there was a point I was questioning if I could function well with my conditions. And we made moves to accommodate that.
Nice.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Okay, so back to the
What's your
My favorite dinosaur? Oh, okay. Now we're talking real stuff. We're talking the real stuff here.
Exactly. Let's get in it.
I'm a T-Rex guy. Love the T-Rex. So cool. But I've also been into the Carnotaurus. It's like a T-Rex, the theropod, 2 legs, carnivore. It's got devil horns on it. And the interpretations I've seen, they've had cool colorings on them. I'm like, yeah, that's metal as hell, dude. I love it. Carnotaurus and T-Rex.
For those who don't know, it's one of the ones in Jurassic World. It's the one that looks like a T-Rex kind of.
The scene in Fallen Kingdom where it's like messing with the gyro ball and then the T-Rex just kind of freaking puts it in its place.
yeah.
3 more questions.
Okie dokie. I had it and then you stole my dinosaur question. I'm so
Dang it.
Let's see that. What's your favorite season and why?
Favorite season? It's got to be summer. I feel the most free in summer, and I'm generally a solar power person. I live and die by vitamin D.
Accurate.
So summer is the ultimate freedom for me. I can dip a lot of layers of clothing. I can keep the doors open, put the windows open, freely walk around and feel comfortable in my skin physically because warm. I thrive in warm weather. I thrive as a person when I am warm, in a warm climate, in a warm environment, just warm. I gotta get warm, dude.
Cozy vibes.
Cozy. Direct me to the nearest beach.
Okay, so here's a more deeper question. How would you define a disability?
How do I define a disability? I think something that hampers day-to-day activity or hampers your state of being, or if not hampers, just increase the difficulty in operating as a person emotionally and physically. It's best I can figure it. But if you can live with it or find a way to work around it, then it's not so much a disability.
Last question. I'll keep it light. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Go anywhere in the world. I either talk up Japan or somewhere in the tropics. Japan, because I love the culture and I love Godzilla movies. So I want to get a feel for where all that comes from.
Jesus Christ, that is such a horrible answer. I love
No.
Godzilla
Okay,
movies.
no. In all honesty,
There's so much more. Like I love how Japanese women look.
yeah, no,
I
that's
love
like
Godzilla
Godzilla's
movies. I
just
just
the
want
tip
to
of it.
see,
Godzilla,
where Godzilla 7 was recorded. You know what I mean?
no,
Like Jesus, come on, buddy.
no. There's more to it than that.
No, but
Godzilla.
that's what I'm trying to save you here. Let me throw you a life vest. Jesus.
I'll say myself here. I was gonna say, I like Godzilla is one thing, but then as I learned more about diversity and getting cultured as I grow up, I went back to looking at Japan, and like really any culture outside of American culture fascinates me. Just like there's so much more history than that, because it's the world history. These places have existed long before like America and my environment that I know, the history of my country and so forth. And
America's
Japan,
existed the same amount of time, big guy.
well, I mean, you go back to like there's feudal Japan and so
I'm
forth.
gonna stop fucking with you. You're not getting it. America wasn't discovered in 1492. Is more what I'm getting at, big guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you off the hook because you're over there sweating like a white. Yeah, he's like,
no. It's all right. It's okay.
No, it's not, because it's fun to us, but it's okay. You're good. Here's your turn though. You get to ask us a good question. Did you have a question? Did you figure it out? Did you write one down?
Sure. I think I got one here. It's
you
like,
get one.
All right. Maybe you asked this already, but when you guys as artists, how conscious are you of your diagnoses or your not disability? I don't want to use that word disability because
diagnosis. That's it.
Diagnosis.
We're good. I'll let you go first, Jay.
How conscious are you of your diagnosis when you're operating as an artist in your preferred field?
I think until the diagnosis, I had zero idea and was just like, I don't know, bitch, I'm gonna just do me. And like, it's just, I do what I do and everyone is fascinated by it. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just me. And then once I like met Audra and stuff and talked more about things and then talked more to guests on podcasts, it's like, oh, that's why I do the things I do and why I operate the way I do. It's because it's a spectrum thing. It's an ADHD thing. There's an explanation for it. Hooray! And now that I'm conscious of that, I can like use it to my advantage and be like, okay, this is how I get into the zone. This is what I'm like on and off my hyperfixation. This is when I'm not in the zone, but I'm trying to be, and why it's hard and it's such a struggle. And then you've seen me when I like critique your scripts and like help you on set and stuff. It's like the fixation, the detail, and it's like, no, the coat is in the background. It wasn't in the background. That's illegal. We gotta fix this. And then
something's not matching. I've done these before. Something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. Yeah. You
just move on. No one's gonna notice.
Yeah, and then when Dante is like telling me to do posters and stuff, I'll just be in this catatonic state for months, and then the next day it's like, here's 5 posters, here's like a report, here's an essay, here's a bunch of stuff for work all at once, and then just hibernate for the rest of the month, or then get back into it and then be like, I'm gonna start 5 different hobbies right now for no reason, and then do nothing. And it's like, this is the ADHD, and it's great, but it sucks at the same time. And I feel like these like past few years, it finally clicked in my slow ass brain where it's like, I need to learn as an adult how to work with this instead of against it, like I've been doing for so many stupid years. Because one of my problems I had as a kid is that like, I've got the piles of doom where it's like I know what it is, but it's on the floor and it's in the way. And I want to move it, but I can't put a shelf because it's in front of the door. And then it's like, wait, shelf on wheels. Freaking duh. The solutions to my problems are easy. I just have to solve them differently and stop trying to pretend to be normal. Because gross. So yeah, that's my answer.
Jesus, we got a hell of an answer out of Jay, and that's the 7 minutes straight. I don't think we've ever got that. Good question. Good question. I'll answer real quickly. So being Black and autistic or neurodivergent or whatever it is, we have a weird story of being boiler room kids and portable kids and being just sent out of class and sent home and being a problem, right? And then you get into comedy, the comedy world, and my social interactions are not always the best. I'm very blunt and honest when it's not even so much confrontational. It's just, what did you just say to me? I don't like that. I heard what you said. I interpreted this. And it's usually not even mad, but my size and build come out, and it's just, I guess it can be scary, right? But then it's also when you look into the way I book and the way I work behind the scenes, me and Jane are two peas in a motherfucking pot. Word. Snap, 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 right? And what I mean by that is I will send her an email, like today I'll start booking, and she'll probably get 4 or 5 lineups, and I'll remind her she has to do 2 or 3 different flyers, and I'll book 3 or 4 different shows. And next thing you know, I went from having no shows booked or nothing set up to the whole month booked, and I need 4 flyers ASAP. And so that fanatical, obsessive, I need to finish that hyper focus. When it kicks in, it's like a good drug. It's like, oh yeah, ooh.
Yeah.
Production.
Get into the groove.
And me and Janejira experienced that together. And it's like, oh my God, I think we're gonna get all our flyers done today. I think we're gonna have a good day. I think you're gonna be able to make a video. You're gonna be able to do this. So it's one of those where like you get this hyper focus sometimes, and you can be. I can get 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, 5-6 weeks worth of work done in like 4 hours if I sit down and really want to focus. And that's what I love. But we've done a whole episode. We're done. We made it.
Nice.
An hour flew by. We're now over here like wanting to talk more, and it's like it's over. It's done. It's finished. I'm sorry. Yeah. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Do you have any projects, any films you want people to look up? Can they go to YouTube and watch anything? What do you got?
I am currently almost done editing a short film. It's a throwback to 1950s monster creature features. It's titled Prehistoric Encounters. I am releasing it on YouTube fairly soon, as I put the finishing touches on the edit. And then I'm also in production on another short film that I started back in October. It's the movie me and Jane met on. It's called Dead Living Killers. It's a zombie horror short. And that's almost done shooting. Currently editing what we got now, but that's going to be released up down the line here. 2 short films.
Perfect. Well, everybody give it up for Nick McCann out of Seattle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Give it up for the potato chip enthusiast.
Yes. Buy my merch and shit. I need to pay bills.
And Barack Oli. I like that one. We're going Barack Oli, not broccoli. I like that a little better. It's a dad pun, right? And then last but not least, it's been your man, the guy that lift the legend suit man. Thank you for coming out. We've got Dating with Disabilities on February 6th. We've got Autastic Artists on February 6th. We've got Jokes at Jules on Valentine's Day weekend. We've got a podcast. We've got a live show, and we've got an online show on Valentine's Day weekend. So we're definitely still entertaining you. You know what I mean? And other than that, I hope you guys have a good new year. This year, Suit Man Productions looks to be more consistent. We'll be doing a summer arts festival. We've got all kinds of shit in the works. So check us out on the radio. Forgot about that. We're on 98.3 KMWV. Can't miss us. If you're in Oregon, give us a listen. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday.